All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
Hey guys, welcome to Colts Law. I'm Lawrence Owen, your host, and welcome to my first actual inaugural live stream on YouTube. So today, what I plan on doing is a Colts Chargers Week 1 2019 regular season preview, right? We're going to go over and see how we actually, as Indianapolis Colts fans, should expect the Indianapolis Colts to attack this Chargers offense and defense. And first and foremost, a lot of people are going to wonder, how's Jacoby Brissett going to work out in this game? Because he's not Andrew Luck. Everybody knows what to expect from Andrew Luck because Andrew Luck's played for, 8 years? So what are we going to expect from from Jacoby Brissett? Jacoby Brissett, I fully expect to be a game manager in this game. Against Chargers defense, the only two real serious players we have to worry about is the pass rush on each side from Bosa to Ingram. Those two guys, as long as we can make sure that we got tight ends on the ends, chipping them off to make sure that they're pushed back into their tackles and their speed rushes and such don't get through, Brissett should be just fine. But I think that we're going to rely heavily on that run game and that top 5 offensive line the Colts had last year, which we have all of them back healthy, and they're playing this game. So I expect a lot of Marlon Mack and some Naheem Hines, actually, but expect a lot of Marlon Mack. All right. This will help keep a lot of pressure off Brissett. Now, the Chargers are going to think the same thing. The Colts are going to rely heavily on Marlon Mack. So expect them to bring their linebackers up a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage, except them to bring one of their safeties up into the box as well, maybe even both at times, to try to really stop the Colts from running the ball right down their throats. But there's a problem with that theory when it comes to the Chargers trying to stack the box. Brissett has one of the best long balls in football. It's absolutely gorgeous. He could throw a 60-yard bomb on a rope, dead on, very accurate. Go back to 2017, look at some of the highlights that he's thrown to guys like T.Y. Hilton, where he would throw 60-yard bombs to him and hit him in stride. All right. So expect a lot of play action to go along with a heavy dose of Marlon Mack. Now, also expect at times that Frank Reich is going to call up a lot of plays where they're going to let some of these linebackers and blitzers and defensive ends come in. And then that's just going to set up the screenplay to say Marlon Mack or that new 6'4", 4.31 speedster Paris Campbell in a screenplay, which could break out big yardage if the Chargers are not careful in looking for it. So I'm expecting the Colts to actually come out and do pretty good against this Chargers defense, especially since Derwin James is not going to be in this game. Indy is a very solid offense, even without Andrew Luck, because they have Deon Cain, who didn't play last year because of a torn ACL. They've got that new wide receiver, as I just mentioned, Paris Campbell. Everybody knows what T.Y. Hilton brings to the table. The offensive line is solid. We still have Eric Ebron. We still have Jack Doyle, So those are some guys that you really want to keep an eye on, because if they bring blitzes and heavy pressure to try to get to Brissett, then expect some screens, expect some play action, and especially Doyle and Ebron are guys that are very good at noticing that the blitz is coming, and they can just go out to where the voided spot is in the coverage and turn around, and Brissett can just get rid of that ball to him really fast. That'll stop these heavy blitzes that I fully expect the Chargers to bring. Defensively on the Colts, we need Matt Eberflus, the defensive coordinator, absolutely must bring pressure to get to Phillip Rivers, because two reasons. Number one, they don't have Melvin Gordon no more. So, I mean, they've got a couple decent backups that they'll probably use as a tandem rather than a bell cow in this game until they can get that running back situation settled. But that's what they're going to have to rely on is a tandem of running backs. And the Colts, with looking at Rivers behind that offensive line of theirs, is not that good. They've got one decent lineman in this game, and that's Pouncey, because their starting Pro Bowl left tackle has got an injury issue that he's dealing with, a medical issue. I believe it's in his foot, something to do with a blood clot or something, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. If I'm wrong, go ahead and say something down in the comments. But with that being the case, the Indianapolis Colts has one starter, one out, and that's Jabal Sheard. But that's okay, because the other guys that they have at defensive end are quite good at what they do. Kamoko Toure, very fast off the edge. You got Justin Houston that we just acquired, who is a very savvy pass rushing veteran. Ben Vanagoo, who is a second-round draft pick, who has taken most of the snaps for Jabal Sheard while he's been injured at defensive end. I fully expect the Colts also, with Matt Eberflus, to send in all kinds of blitzes, whether it be blitzes from the linebacker spot, like Darius Leonard coming in, like you've seen quite a bit of last year, which he's very good at because he's got incredibly good closing speed. And you also have like nickel corner and safety blitzes. Moore, our nickel corner, got a few sacks last year because of these safety blitzes that they bring. Indianapolis is going to play a lot of zone coverage against Phillip Rivers in this very high-powered passing attack, which is what they're going to have to rely on. The Chargers are expecting to try to score as many points as possible, which is obvious, but they're not going to be playing this time clock, control the clock type, game like the Colts are going to do. They're going to try to get down the field and score and make the Colts play catch up. So what the Colts are going to end up doing is back off like they did most of the year last year. Back off, play zone coverage, let them have the ball pass underneath. Give up those 3, 5, 7 yard passes, run up, make those heavy, hard hit tackles, and try to come up with turnovers and things of that nature. Don't allow anything past 15, 20 yards. The Indianapolis Colts defensively were the second best in the NFL last year at not allowing any plays past 25 yards. So expect that again. You have a very healthy Malik Hooker back there at safety, who he's not worried about anymore about re-injuring that ACL that he had torn in his rookie season. So he's going to be able to sit back there, and if Rivers does decide to throw it deep, he is going to be back there watching for that. That he's basically our safety valve, and expect something from that defensive back group to happen. I'm expecting a turnover or two, because Allen is going to be covered most likely by Pierre Desir. I think the running game is going to be very well taken care of, because the Colts run defense was 8th, I believe, in the NFL last year, at least top 8 in not only yards allowed per game on the ground, but yards per carry allowed, for the season. So I don't expect the Chargers, with, missing Melvin Gordon, to be able to do much there. They're going to have to really focus on their tight ends, because Chargers got a pretty good tight end. He missed a lot last year because of injury, but I expect the Colts to have to focus on that. What I'm seeing is the Indianapolis Colts is going to try to play time of possession type game, where they're going to walk the field, do a lot of run plays. Occasionally when you see that, as I said, the Chargers will come up to try to stop them from running. I expect them to go over the top with the speed that they have at wide receiver and at tight end, and just milk clock and just score and keep that high-powered Chargers offense off the field. And defensively, I expect them to keep everything in front of them. Make Phillip Rivers and that offense be incredibly patient and do 10-plus play drives just to score. All right? So that's my opinion. That's how I see things. If you see things differently, feel free to mention it in the comments. I'm going to give you a final score. I think the Indianapolis Colts win this game by a score of 24-17. And I think Brissett scores at least one touchdown in the air and no turnovers by Brissett. And I believe the defense will come up with 2 turnovers against the Chargers. I'm Lawrence Owen. This is Colts Law. And until next week, have a good one.